Bene, salve, salve, salvete. Hello.
Salve.
Okay.
Bene, bene. So welcome to this Latin demonstration class for the Ancient Language Institute. I'm Katherine Bradshaw, and we will be just sort of going through a lesson and showing what this is like. If you'll just introduce yourselves and we'll get started.
I'm Natasha. I'm a writer from London.
Hi, I'm Sebastian, and I'm a data scientist in London.
Yes.
Wonderful. And just so that our viewers know, have you all had any previous experience with Latin?
I did Latin when I was 9.
Mhm.
I remember a few words from it, and then I did one semester in high school, and I was going to do it for my GCSEs, which are like the national exams. But it was at the same time as drama, so I picked drama over Latin.
As often happens, yes.
Yes.
And for me, it was so I think when I was 13, we had the choice between French and Latin, and alas, I chose French.
As also often happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only thing I remember is that, especially the first week when in our class when they had Latin, is they yelled a lot of stultus, which yeah, is apparently
Ew! Oh no!
yeah. So that's the only thing I remember from that.
Oh, well, that is a very memorable word, but not one I would use in the classroom very often. uh for for the viewers, stultus means stupid.
Nice
So
to hear at school.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
yeah. So, well, so your experience with Latin is either a while back or very small, and so this is very introductory on purpose. So let's go ahead and dive in, and then we can kind of do a quick debrief after. So, bene. Hoc est capitulum primum est Imperium Romanum. Bene. Roma in Italia est. Roma in Italia est. Italia in Europa est. Et Graecia in Europa est. Italia et Graecia in Europa sunt. Jam. Okay. Sebastian and Natasha. Estne Roma in Italia. Estne Roma in Italia.
Sì.
Bene. Bene, sic vel ita. Yeah, bene. Sic ita. Yeah. Roma in Italia est. Estne Italia in Roma? Estne Italia in Roma?
Yep.
Bene, non est.
Non est.
Bene, non est.
Non est.
Ubi est Roma? Ubi.
Roma in Italia
Est.
Optime. Ita, Roma in Italia est. Et ubi est Italia? Ubi est Italia?
Italia in Europa est.
Bene, Italia in Europa est. Optime. Estne Graecia in Europa? Estne Graecia in Europa?
Sì, Graecia in Europa est.
Bene, Graecia in Europa est. Bene. Et Italia et Graecia in Europa sunt. Et Italia et Graecia in Europa sunt. Italia in Europa est. Italia et Graecia in Europa sunt. Hispania quoque in Europa est. Hispania et Italia et Graecia in Europa sunt. Bene. Sunt ne Hispania et Italia et Graecia in Europa sunt ne?
Sì.
Sì.
Bene, bene, sic, sunt. Bene, Aegyptus in Europa non est. Aegyptus in Africa est. Gallia non in Africa est. Gallia est in Europa. Syria non est in Europa, sed in Asia. Arabia quoque. Arabia quoque et. Quoque et. Sunt synonyma sunt. Quoque et. Arabia quoque in Asia est. Syria et Arabia in Asia sunt. Germania non in Asia, sed in Europa est. Britannia quoque in Europa est. Germania et Britannia sunt in Europa. Jam. Okay. De tavola geografica. Bene. Estne Gallia in Africa. Estne Gallia in Africa?
No.
No.
Non, Gallia non est in Africa. Ubi est Gallia?
Gallia in Europa est.
Bene, bene, Gallia in Europa est. Sunt ne Syria et Aegyptus in Europa?
Non sunt Syria et Ägyptus in ist nicht
Mirabile! Non est magni momenti.
Yeah.
Non est magni
Yeah.
momenti. Bene.
Yeah.
Bene, ita. Syria et Aegyptus in Europa non sunt. Ita. Syria, ubi est Syria? Ubi est Syria?
In Arabia est.
Asia.
In Asia est.
Bene, in Asia est. Ita.
Asia est.
Syria
Yeah.
est prope Arabiam.
Mhm.
Est prope Arabiam. Quia Syria Arabia. Sed Syria est in Asia. Ita. Bene. Aegyptus, ubi est? Ubi est Aegyptus?
In Asia est.
Afrika.
Africa est. Oh gosh.
Non est magni momenti. Est in Africa. Bene. Est in Africa. Bene. Et ubi sunt Britannia et Germania? Ubi sunt Britannia et Germania?
Sunt.
Yeah.
In Europa sunt.
Bene.
In
In Europa sunt. Bene. In Europa sunt. Bene. Et Britannia, et Germania, et Gallia, et Hispania, et Italia, et Graecia sunt in Europa. Sunt multa in Europa. Bene. Et iam Pergamus. Bene. Est Gallia in Europa? Gallia in Europa est. Est Roma in Gallia? Roma in Gallia non est. Ubi est Roma? Roma est in Italia. Ubi est Italia? Italia in Europa est. Ubi sunt Gallia et Hispania? Gallia et Hispania in Europa sunt. Bene. Jam. Estne Nilus in Europa? Nilus in Europa non est. Ubi est Nilus? Nilus in Africa est. Rhenus ubi est? Rhenus est in Germania. Bene. Natasha et Sebastian. Estne Nilus in Hispania? Estne Nilus in Hispania?
No.
Ubi est Nilus?
Nilus in Aegyptus est.
Bene, Nilus in Aegypto est. Ita, bene. Quoque Nilus in Africa est. Et Aegyptus et in Aegypto et in Africa, quia, Aegyptus est in Africa. Bene. Renus ubi est. Ubi est Renus?
Renus est in Germania.
Bene, ita, Renus est in Germania. Bene. Nilus fluvius est, Renus fluvius est. Nilus et Renus fluvii sunt. Fluvius, fluvii. Fluvius, fluvii. Bene. Nilus et Renus fluvii sunt. Danuvius quoque fluvius est. Renus et Danuvius sunt fluvii in Germania. Tiberis fluvius in Italia est. Okay. Sunt ne Danuvius et Renus in Italia? Sunt ne Danuvius et Renus in Italia?
No. Renus und Danuvius und Fluvi in Germania.
Bene. Renus et Danuvius sunt fluvii in Germania, non in Italia, non sunt.
No.
Bene. Quid est fluvius in Italia? Quid est fluvius in Italia?
Tiberis fluvius in Italia est.
Bene, Tiberis fluvius in Italia est. Bene. Nilus fluvius magnus est. Magnus. Tiberis non est fluvius magnus. Tiberis fluvius parvus est. Renus non est fluvius parvus, sed fluvius magnus. Nilus et Renus non fluvii parvi, sed fluvii magni sunt. Danuvius quoque fluvius magnus est. Fluvius magnus, fluvii magni. Fluvius magnus, fluvii magni. Bene. Sunt ne Nilus et Renus fluvii parvi aut fluvii magni.
Fluvi Nilus et Renus fluvi magnus magni sunt.
Optime, ita. Nilus et Renus fluvii magni sunt. Non fluvii parvi sunt. Non. Est ne Tiberis quoque fluvius magnus?
Tiberis non est fluvius magnus. Tiberis fluvius parvus est.
Optime, ita. Tiberis fluvius magnus non est. Tiberis fluvius parvus est. Ita. Bene. Corsica insula est. Insula. Quid est insula? Insula. Ecce. Insula est. Insula. Hic non est insula. Non est insula. Insula est. Insula est in aqua. Aqua est. Insula est in aqua. Bene. Corsica insula est. Corsica insula est. Corsica et Sardinia et Sicilia insulae sunt. Insulae. Britannia quoque insula est. Italia insula non est. Sicilia insula magna est. Melita est insula parva. Britannia non insula parva, sed insula magna est. Sicilia et Sardinia non insulae parvae, sed insulae magnae sunt. Whew. Natasha and Sebastian. Quae sunt Corsica, et Sardinia, et Sicilia. Quae sunt?
Plural.
Ah, bene, sunt pluralis. Bene. Quoque sunt insulae. Ita. Bene. Oh, optime. Grammaticae dices. Est bonum. Bene. So et Corsica, et Sardinia, et Sicilia sunt plurales, et sunt insulae. Bene. Est ne Britannia insula?
Si.
See.
Qualis insula? Est ne insula parva? Est ne insula magna? Qualis insula est?
Britannia est insula magna.
Bene, ita. Britannia est insula magna. Ita. Est ne Melita? Quoque insula magna?
Non, Melita est insula parva.
Bene. Melita est insula parva, non est insula magna, ut Britannia. Britannia est insula magna, sed Melita est insula parva.
Ubi est Melita?
Est optimum rogatum. Melita est insula Graeca, est insula prope Graeciam. Bene. Melita est, well, non est prope Graeciam, sed est prope Siciliam, ignosce. Melita est hic est Melita. Melita est insula parva, prope Siciliam. Ita. Sed Sicilia est magna insula, et Melita est insula parva. Ita. So, est Sardinia, est Corsica, est Britannia. So, sunt multae insulae. Deinde, bene. Deinde, Pergamus. Insulae magnae et insulae parvae. Brundisium oppidum est. Brundisium et Tusculum oppida sunt. Sparta quoque oppidum est. Bene. Oppidum. Oppidum est hoc. Hoc est oppidum. Oppidum est. Sparta est oppidum. Delphi est oppidum. Tusculum est oppidum. Oppidum est. Et sunt multa oppida. Brundisium est oppidum magnum. Tusculum oppidum parvum est. Delphi quoque oppidum parvum est. Tusculum et Delphi non oppida magna, sed oppida parva sunt. Natasha et Sebastian, quid est Brundisium? Quid est Brundisium?
Brundisium oppidum est.
Bene. Ita, Brundisium oppidum est. Est ne Italia oppidum? Est ne Italia oppidum?
Non. Italian non est oppidum.
Bene. Italia non est oppidum. Italia est patria. Italia non est oppidum. In Italia sunt multa oppida. Est ne Delphi oppidum aut patria? Est ne Delphi oppidum aut patria?
Delphi est oppidum.
Bene, Delphi est oppidum. Graecia est patria. Bene. Delphi oppidum parvum est. Quale oppidum est tusculum, est ne oppidum magnum, est ne oppidum parvum, quale oppidum est tusculum.
Tusculum oppidum parvum est.
Bene, tusculum oppidum parvum est, non est oppidum magnum. Bene. Tusculum et Delphi sunt qualia. Sunt ne magna, sunt ne parva, qualia sunt.
Parva.
Bene, ita. Tusculum et Delphi non oppida magna sunt. Tusculum et Delphi oppida parva sunt. Oppidum, oppida. Oppidum, oppida. Bene. Bene. Iam. Ubi est Sparta? Sparta est in Graecia. Sparta est oppidum Graecum. Sparta et Delphi oppida Graeca sunt. Tusculum non est oppidum Graecum, sed oppidum Romanum est. Tusculum et Brundisium sunt oppida Romana. Ah, bene. Est ne Sparta in Italia? Est ne Sparta in Italia?
Non, Sparta est in Graecia.
Bene, Sparta est in Graecia, non est in Italia. Est ne Sparta oppidum Romanum? Est ne Sparta oppidum Romanum?
Non, Sparta est oppidum Graecum.
Bene, Sparta non est oppidum Romanum, Sparta est oppidum Graecum. Bene, bene, bene. Sunt ne Sparta et Delphi oppida Graeca? Sunt ne Sparta et Delphi oppida Graeca?
Si, Sparta et Delphi oppida Graeca sunt.
Bene, sic. Sparta et Delphi oppida Graeca sunt. Bene. Pergamus. Sardinia insula Romana est. Creta, Rhodus, Naxos, Samos, Chios, Lesbos, Lemnos, Euboea sunt insulae Graecae. In Graecia multae insulae sunt. Ah, bene. Ecce. Ecce. Sunt multae insulae in Graecia. Sunt Natasha and Sebastian, sunt ne insulae Graecae insulae magnae?
Non.
Non. Sunt insulae parvi.
Sunt insulae parvae. Sunt insulae parvae. But est difficile. Bene, bene, bene. So sunt insulae parvae. Sunt multae insulae parvae. Oh, multae sunt. Multae sunt. Est Lemnos, Lesbos, Chios, Samos, Naxos, Rhodus, Euboea. Creta. Insula Parva, Insula Magna. Sed sunt insulae Graecae. Sunt insulae Graecae. Bene. Et deinde Pergamus. Insulae Graecae multae. In Italia et in Graecia sunt multa oppida. In Gallia et in Germania multi sunt fluvii. Sunt ne multi fluvii et multa oppida in Arabia? In Arabia non multi, sed pauci fluvii sunt, et pauca oppida. Iam. amici, friends, amici. Sunt ne multae insulae in Italia? Sunt ne multae insulae in Italia?
No.
Bene. Non sunt. Ita. Sunt ne multa oppida in Italia?
Sì.
Sì.
Mhm.
In Italia is molta oppida.
Bene, in Italia sunt multa oppida. Multa oppida sunt in Italia. Bene. In Gallia et in Germania sunt ne pauci fluvii? Multi pauci. Contraria sunt. Sunt ne pauci fluvii, amici?
Non. In Germania multi sunt fluvi.
Bene. In Germania multi sunt fluvii, non pauci. Sunt ne multi fluvii quoque in Arabia?
Non, in Arabia non sunt multi sunt pauci fluvi.
Optime. Ita, non sunt multi fluvii in Arabia, sunt pauci fluvii, non multi. Oh, yeah. Arabia est desertum. Non sunt multi fluvii, non sunt multa oppida, sunt pauci fluvii, sunt pauca oppida. Ita, Ben, pergams. Num Creta oppidum est? Creta oppidum non est. Num Creta oppida est? Creta oppidum non est. Num est rogatum? Num responsum? Responsum est non. Num est rogatum? Responsum est non. Bene. Num Creta oppidum est? Creta oppidum non est. Num, amici, num Italia insula est? Num Italia insula est?
Italian insula non est.
Optime. Italia insula non est. Num Italia insula est? Italia insula non est. Amici, Italia est insula. Non est insula, est insula. Bene. Et Anglicae et Latine. Quid est Creta? Creta insula est. Num Sparta insula est. Sparta non est insula. Quid est Sparta? Natasha, quid est Sparta?
Sparta oppidum est.
Bene. Sebastian, Rhenus quid est?
Renos est fluvius.
Bene. Rhenus est fluvius. Bene. Exponum. Yeah. Rhenus est magnus fluvius, Rhenus est fluvius, eta. Num Oceanus Atlanticus parvus est. Quid est Oceanus Atlanticus? Oceanus Atlanticus est... Ecce. Oceanus Atlanticus. Oceanus Atlanticus est, et... Hic, quoque est Oceanus Atlanticus. Oceanus Atlanticus magnus est. So, amici, num Oceanus Atlanticus parvus est? Num Oceanus Atlanticus parvus est?
Non, Atlanticus, Oceanus, Atlanticus est Magnus.
Optime. Oceanus Atlanticus est magnus, non est parvus. Est magnus. Bene. Bene. Et non parvus sed magnus est oceanus. Bene. Ah. Ubi est Imperium Romanum? Imperium Romanum est in Europa, in Asia, in Africa. Hispania et Syria et Aegyptus provinciae Romanae sunt. Oh, bene. Pausam. Imperium Romanum. Quid significat? Imperium Romanum. Ah, amici, ecce. Imperium Romanum. Imperium Romanum est. Sunt multae patriae in Imperium Romanum. Britannia, Gallia. Ah, bene! Magnum est Imperium Romanum. Ita, bene. Imperium Romanum est magnum. Non est parvum, est magnum. So, sunt multae patriae in Imperio Romano. Gallia est provincia Romana. Non est Imperium Romanum, sed est provincia. Est provincia Imperium Romanum. Imperii Romani. Est provincia in Imperio Romano. Hispania quoque est provincia in Imperio Romano. Italia non est provincia, quia Roma in Italia est. Sed provinciae sunt Hispania, Gallia, Britannia, Aegyptus, Syria sunt Graecia sunt provincia Romana. Et in Imperio Romano sunt Hispania et Syria et Aegyptus. Germania non est provincia Romana. Germania in Imperio Romano non est. Sed Gallia et Britannia sunt provinciae Romanae. Amici, num Germania est provincia Romana?
No. German, you can put that.
Non, Germania non est provincia Romana.
Bene. Germania non est provincia Romana. Germania non est provincia Romana. Germania in Imperio Romano non est. Sunt synonyma. Sed est ne Hispania provincia Romana. Est ne Hispania provincia Romana.
Sí.
Sí, Hispania. Brain fart.
Provincia Romana est.
In.
Bene! Ita! Hispania est provincia Romana. Hispania est in Imperio Romano. Bene. Et in Imperio Romano multae sunt provinciae. Magnum est Imperium Romanum. Bene, Natasha. Dixisti, you said. Dixisti. Magnum est Imperium Romanum. Imperium Romanum magnum est. Ita. Bene. Amici, sunt ne paucae provinciae? Multae paucae. Sunt ne paucae provinciae in Imperio Romano?
Sí.
Sunt paucae?
Nein.
Non sunt multae?
Non.
Bene. Yeah. Sunt ne, amici, sunt ne multae provinciae in Imperio Romano.
Sí.
Sunt ne multae. Ita, sic, sunt multae provinciae. Quia magnum est imperium Romanum. Sunt multae provinciae. Gallia, Britannia, Hispania, Syria, Aegyptus.
I thought it was are there small provinces within?
Oh, ita sunt parvae provinciae.
Yeah.
Non sunt
Okay,
paucae provinciae.
Yeah.
Oh, ita parva, pauca, pauca. Non multa sed pauca. Bene, intellego. Yeah, I understand. Intellego. Bene. Amici, you made it. Great job. That was a lot. How was that in terms of like the difficulty level and things? That was a lot of vocabulary all at once.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, it's yeah, very much a lot of repetition and from context. Plus, it's funny to see how many of these words are
still here,
are still around in one form or another. So
yes.
So for example, insular, like these things, like all of that's still around. So
how do you say barbarian? That was the only thing they were missing from the German.
Es barbarus.
Barbarus.
Yeah, barbarus, barbari. Barbarus, barbari. Well, barbari sumus. We are barbari. Quia non sumus, we are not, non sumus Romani. Non sumus Romani. All non-Romans are barbarians according to the Romans. So ita, yeah, sumus barbari. Bene, yes, and you get barbarian in a few lessons. So when we talk about the Roman military and the Roman camp and things like that. So did you have any questions based on that experience? Because I can talk a little bit about what we do at ALI in terms of just to give everybody an overview.
I have one question about the word order. Does it matter with because like sometimes they put you can put the verb at the end, or you can put it in the middle. So in the middle is more like standard word order that's around now, but so you can also do subject, object, verb, I guess.
Yeah, excellent question. So it is a little more flexible than it is in English and several other languages, but it is not anything goes, if that makes sense. So it is more common for the verb est and sunt, because they're the same verb, to be in the middle than it is for other verbs. For other verbs, it's usually subject, object, verb. That's the common pattern. But for est and sunt, that verb, it often, not always, but often will go subject, verb, predicate, nominative. So, but you can put it at the end, and the Romans often do. So it's more flexible because, of course, Latin is an inflected language, so we have all those case endings and everything. So you can, particularly the poets, they often do, because they want to make, cool word pictures and put things in, put the ship in the midst of the waves, and so they move the word order around and things like that. But for prose authors, a lot of times it's subject, object, verb. Yeah. Great question. So just to give a quick overview of, you got a sense of the kind of way that a going over a reading works at the Ancient Language Institute, or ALI. So the other things that are kind of part of our system, we don't just, if you were taking a regular class with us, we wouldn't just throw you in with the reading. No previous experience. You guys have been great sports, just coming in and plunging in.
Very bad. I apologize. That's very embarrassing. My terrible geography.
No. Oh my goodness. Everybody makes mistakes in Latin. None of us are native Latin speakers. Your instructor is not a native Latin speaker either. So everybody, including your instructor, is going to make mistakes. So this is part of the ALI spirit, is we just, one of my one big rule in class is serva patientiam, preserve your patience. And that's mostly with yourself, actually, because you guys are veteran language learners. You know that, when you go back to, I can read Roma in Italia est and understand that it kind of is frustrating for highly articulate people that are able to say exactly what they want to say, exactly the way they want to say it in their first language, second language, whichever. So most of it is just be patient with yourself and give yourself the time to learn how to do it and the freedom to make the mistakes, and then to take that as part of the learning process.
And this book is from Lingua Latina?
Yes. So that is our textbook for the first 2.5 terms. So each term is 14 weeks. And the textbook for the first 2.5 terms is this one, Lingua Latina per se Illustrata, Familia Romana. And that one that's our reading. So that's a big part of what we do at ALI, is we give you guys reading assignments to do during the week, and then we can discuss them in class and answer any questions about them. So these are our 2 main books for the first 2 terms, Lingua Latina, Familia Romana, and Lingua Latina, Colloquia Personarum, which is a bunch of little dialogues. And so what Familia Romana does is it follows the adventures of a little Roman family. We don't stay in the geography realm for forever. We follow the adventures of a little Roman family and all the things that happen to them, that range from, the children getting into a little squabble, to people having to go on journeys and getting caught in storms and things like that. So there's a continuing narrative that's very engaging and fun. And there's a lot of reading going on here. So what we do at ALI, there's 3, as you know, there's 3 main ingredients for learning a language. There's the vocabulary acquisition, which is what we use. Our vocabulary platform, which is online, is called Pictodicta. And Pictodicta, the best way to explain it is kind of what flashcards want to be when they grow up. So this is kind of a very easy to see. You get the flashcard, filius, noun, and then a sentence, Gaius est filius Lucii et Corneliae. So Gaius is the son of Lucius and Cornelia, and you get the definition. Sometimes you get a longer definition if it's a little more technical, but then you don't just get the vocabulary cards, you also get some exercises and drills and things like that to really reinforce it. So for example, this is an example of one drill where there's a bunch of vocabulary cards with the little example sentences and a picture. And then you have to, so it'll say, which one of these is nubes. Oh, this one is nubes alba and Kylo est, nubes, cloud. So that way we're not stuck in the loop of Latin word, English word, then the picture. We're kind of skipping that English step and cutting that out as much as possible. And then the next ingredient is how the language works, i.e. grammar. So for that, we have this platform called St. Andy's Latin Companion, and it is partially explanations of the grammar, but it's not just explanations of the grammar, it's also grammar exercises. So for example, to really emphasize how the endings in Latin work, we would have an exercise that says, find the picture that the sentence describes. So for example, ursi Romanos fugant. So ursi is plural, so that means, and nominative, so that means I need multiple bears. Romanos is in the accusative, so that means that the bears are pursuing the Romans, not the Romans pursuing the bears, so I don't need this one. And fugant is pursue, so all of these are pursuing. So the ursi Romanos fugant, it's this one, because the ursi are pursuing the Romans. And so noticed that even though to explain it, I had to use a lot of English. If you're actually doing this, you don't have to do any English.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, so my mother, like, she learned Latin in school, and they had to translate a lot of like a lot of Caesar and so on. And it was like the old school way of doing it, like everything is translation. And she made a funny mistake that the horses were standing on the feet of the frogs or something like that, and it was exactly that mistake. But she messed up some case. So yeah.
it happens to everyone at some point, myself included, where you realize, oh, it's the Gauls are fleeing the Romans, not the other way around, and things like that. Yes, exactly. So we do care about grammar. It's just that we teach it a little differently from a lot of people, because we're going back to kind of the Renaissance way of teaching Latin, which is now backed up by Sanskrit and language acquisition research. So go figure, the Renaissance knew quite a lot of things. And then the other thing is, the other ingredient of learning a language is that exposure to level appropriate, meaningful content in the language that you're learning. So that is where the reading comes in. And we do a lot of reading because it's a chapter a week and a dialogue a week, which we did together 2 out of 3 of the parts of chapter 1. So we did most of chapter 1 together. But so some of the chapters are longer, some of them are a little bit shorter, but they're all a manageable length for the level that you are at that point. So it's 14 weeks for a term, 14 chapters for a term, and the story unfolds and it goes increasingly in complexity as the work progresses, because Ørberg, who wrote these 2, was just a master of language teaching. And so then about 2.5 terms in, so if you're taking, continuously, that would be like a fall, summer, or a fall, spring, summer. Halfway through the summer term, you'd be starting to read primary sources. So actual real Latin texts that were written not for the classroom. And we move to, so for example, we move to a story that is in Latin, but it's the story of Joseph in Genesis or something like that. And eventually we get to Livy and Virgil and Ovid and all those amazing authors that people go into Latin to read. So that's the progression there.
It's also cool. That's just thinking, even with like learning a European language, you don't get interesting primary texts in 2 semesters.
No, exactly. That's quite impressive that you can, because I remember like at my school they eventually got into like the first thing they read was basically like from the early Middle Ages, like from the church texts.
And that's what we do in like
Latin.
And that's what we do for, so the 3rd term, that's what we're doing. We're not moving into Ovid in 2 semesters. That would be slightly crazy. But because the reason why that you can do that is because there's so much input going on, because not only do you have the reading, you have, so my colleague Luke Ranieri has made readings. He and Irene have made these readings of our textbook, so you hear it as well as read it. And their Latin is just amazing. So you have that. Then you also get these videos that we call circling videos. It's basically, so for Familia Romana, it's me. For other textbooks, it's my colleagues talking through the reading in Latin for you. So a lot of the kind of things that we did together where I was explaining like, oh, multi, that kind of thing, that's going to be in here in these videos, so that when you come to class, you have that all under your belt. to go. And then class is an hour and a half session each week on Zoom with everybody. And we go through the questions about the reading. Then we have some composition exercises. We have some various things, and it's a lot of laughter and fun along with the language learning. So because you have so much input, that's one of the reasons why we can move at that pace. So that's our vision for language learning at the Ancient Language Institute. So I teach Latin, I teach Ancient Greek, but we have Latin, Ancient Greek, Biblical Hebrew, and Old English. So all four of those. Are there any other questions? You guys have been amazing.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun.
Lots of fun.
Also, the old joke is because my great grandpa went to he studied Greek and Latin, and the joke was that basically the Greek exam is like one sentence that he has to translate because it was so complicated.
Greek is more difficult than Latin. It really is.
Well, it just starts with different alphabets or different letters. So
let's stick with Latin for now. I think. Yes.
Yes, Latin is definitely easier, particularly for English speakers or anyone who speaks a Romance language. Latin is much easier than Greek. Although Greek is well worth the effort. It is a lot of effort.
Does it work similarly with Greek as well in terms of comprehensible input, or yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. So we have a Greek program that is run on the same philosophy. The materials are different, obviously, but the same philosophy of lots of input, grammar explanation, yes, but a lot of active use and hearing of the language in order to get that all those benefits and to make it stickier. So yes, definitely.
No, it was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing this. It has been just an absolute pleasure. So thank you very much. Valete. Vale.